Yeah, the only thing. is when you open it.
Ready?
The numbers public, like, but it's- So the contract should consider numbers.
Now call the meeting of Oregon County Board of Commissioners to order. Please rise for a moment of silence, prayer, and the pledge of allegiance.
Father, we thank you for each mind, heart that fills this room and with their presence. Strengthen our confidence in who you have made us to be. Set us free from comparison in order to work together efficiently. For only you truly know what we are setting out to accomplish today. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
These proceedings are being recorded for the purpose of preparing accurate written minutes. Recordings are overwritten following approval of the minutes, eliminating all unofficial records of these proceedings. The first item is the approval of the minutes of the previous meeting held July 20th, 2023.
Motion approved. Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes. Are there any guests concerning county business at this time? Hearing none, we'll move on.
Next item is the opening of bids for the courthouse renovations via NBID. The first contract is the general construction.
Good morning. Okay, for the general construction contract, the following companies have submitted bids. KC Mechanical Services Incorporated. $447,000.00. O&M Multi-Trade Incorporated. $496,843.00. Bognet Incorporated. $987,654.00. Next one is GR Noto Electrical Construction Incorporated for $1,072,500. Next one is Shannon A. Smith Incorporated, $1,223,200. Awesome. All right, next one is George J. Hayden Incorporated, DBA Hayden Power Group, $1,266,350.00. Next one is US Solutions, $1,515,000.00. And next is WindGap Electric Inc. $1,566,770.00. And CMG of Easton Incorporated, $1,910,000.00.
10,000.
The next is JBM Mechanical Incorporated. $2,368,000 and no cents. Next is Myco Mechanical Incorporated. $2,719,000 and no cents. Okay, the next is the mechanical construction contract.
Okay, is that all good for the
I'm
gym?
sorry, yes, that's it for the.
So I'll go ahead and move that we table for 3 weeks so we can assess to ensure we find the lowest cost technically feasible, viable bid.
I mean, we always do that normal thing, but I'd like to add a little bit to that, to have this motion. For the next meeting, when we're gonna award, through the process, or when we're gonna award this. I'd like to have it that all appropriate drawings for the completion of the courthouse renovation project must be available in copies given to the Carbon County Chief Administrator or or appropriate parties. I have my reasons for it, and I think we have to do a little bit more research on that, we make sure that we have all the plans, and I'm just going off of this, by like that we just submitted the plans on Monday to the borough, so I want to make sure that we have the appropriate plans for the work that's going to be done.
That's such a lower.
Okay.
Um,
Yep.
You
I
okay with
moved
that?
it, yeah, I am.
You seconded it, Robbie?
Yeah.
Question that doesn't present a problem for the bidders or for the general manager, construction or oil, for what? Applying all that in, it should be there already, right?
Do you want him to Ellie, or do you want him?
The motion is to go.
The borough already has them for building.
So I mean, we already have them.
The borough.
And numbers, I mean, we have a big disparity in numbers here. I'm just wondering if everybody has the updated drawings that they did.
That would have been included.
Everything was on Penbit.
I mean, not that we missed something.
The way we've done it, what we've done is everything was posted on Penbit initially. There were, I believe, Chad, 4 addendums? 5 addendums issued, questions came in, clarifications, all issued through Penbit, so the contractors have the plans, the documents, and 5 addendums that were issued.
So they all had the same information.
They
when
all had
put
the
it-
same
They
information.
all had access to it.
They all have
Now, we'll
access.
determine once you review if they actually took that into consideration, because like as Commissioner
Well-
Arnold mentioned, that disparity of a couple down there at $500,000, and then everything else jumped pretty significantly.
Yeah, and I'm not, honestly, I look at what was read, and I'm not looking at the screen, of course.
Sure.
but Some of these folks are not general contractors
Right, yeah,
of the stuff that he read.
yeah,
Hayden, we know, is just as an example, they're an electrical contractor,
sure.
right? So I'm not exactly, but no, without a doubt, we can get Ellie hard electronic copies of everything that she needs.
And I'm just looking at the addendums, like even on addendum 1, it has changes to drawing not available. So does everybody really know what the scope of work that has to be done?
That would have been issued in the later addendum.
Okay, well, I don't see that. And actually, the last addendum that we did on Monday, we had a part here in our warehouse for 3 months. And now it's an addendum for, I think it's $15,000 for this, and I just don't see it costing 15,000. It's me, it looks more than 15,000. That's incorporated in here. And I think when we do our drawing, and I don't wanna like pick on anybody or anything, but we're hiring you, Tony. It's costing us, I think, 300-some thousand or 800-some thousand dollars to manage this. And I don't think I have to look at every blueprint. And I don't have, then there's even some emails in here where you might, according to Rocky's email, we might have to move the bidding back. Well, I have questions on about everything that's in the scope of work that's in here. Because we've seen a lot, and like I said, it's starting right here from the beginning. And to me, there's a change order right off the bat. just with the electrical unit getting into the basement. And we're probably gonna have a change order from the electrical company that's gonna say it's gonna cost us more to get it in the basement. And we have in here $15,000 allowance to alter, move a door. There's a little bit more to the project than just moving that bolt door. You know, a bigger door can get the unit down there, but I go all the way back to all the emails that this is gonna be, in fact, it's in here. Electric contractor will be the third party to get the unit in the basement. You know, these are all the addendums, and these are things that are thrown at people within 3 days' time, you know, and that's, I don't think that's acceptable. But I just go back to that, and I just need that, and we can forget about all that stuff there, but I just need this, that the appropriate drawings and everybody that's awarded these bids know what they're getting into. You know, I don't want to have it, and I want to document when there's change orders of $300,000-$400,000 over this project. And I've seen that there was a lot of them. I know that one upstairs, they asked me about it. If they can't get to a certain area, then we take the floor up. To me, that would be an appropriate, you know, change order. But some of these drawings are made, and we have experts coming in and we're saying, okay, this beam has to be altered, this has to be altered. Don't forget, we're working on a building that was built in the 1800s. This isn't some kind of standard building that was done. And that's all I'm asking for. That I just need documentation on what is in the scope of work when we award the bids. That's the bottom line. And the next thing, like on these motions, actually, when this goes to the solicitor and our chief administrator, any change order or addendums, that they should all be presented at the commissioner's weekly public meeting by Boyle Construction Management for discussion before approval. And the reason that is because I'm out in the public and everybody asks about what the change orders are for. And sometimes we don't even know what to really explain 100% to them. So let's do it here. It's not going to hold any of the work up. If a change order is made, it can be made that following Thursday. Now, if there's an emergency and something falls down, that's a little bit of a different situation. But I think we have to start handling these jobs a little bit different. And I said it goes back to it. Everybody's screaming. They want a good salary, and I don't want to waste money if we don't have to. I mean, I think we have to take the proper steps to do it. And when we're making a decision, when we get a change order, it's behind doors and we sign off on it. So is that transparent? I think we have to start getting a little bit more transparent in these change orders that the public sees it, and they can have justification. I'm not saying it's not justified, but I think we just have to change this a little bit and hold everybody accountable. You know, and like I said, we're heading into our budget season, and we can't. To me, last year I wanted $700,000 to correct some wages and $500 this year. I would like to have that $500,000 this year too, you know, to keep correcting. And we can't make mistakes because this is going to affect our employees and the taxpayers. And raising taxes is not the answer. Using your money appropriately is the answer. So that's all I need, but
May I call the board?
yes,
Mr. Arndt,
yes.
Mr. Lukasevich.
Yes.
Mr. Notstein.
Yes.
Kelly, can I ask one question?
Yeah.
So we have allowance money in the bids for all 4 prime contractors, whoever they are, whoever is selected. And it varies, right? It varies from $75,000 to $150,000, right? It's if something happens during the course of the project, the county has money in the contract that allows for a change to be done. So my question for the board is, on that allowance money, does the board want for every change that occur or could occur,
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
okay,
every change.
Yeah.
even within that allowance?
Even if it's within the allowance that the change order says that there is just no cost.
Got it, okay.
And I understand, Tony, you're gonna run into problems that there are gonna be issues. It's just one of these things. I said, I'm out in the street and everybody goes, oh my God, that building costs $400,000 more. And I think we need to show them what it is, you know.
That's not a problem. I just want to understand the process because
Yeah.
as you know, in going through the multiple projects that we have, something does come up and it could come up. And most times you're right. 1 week is not a problem. But there are things that do come up that almost needed, I don't want to say instantaneous, but a day or two, which is why some things we send to Ellie and say, look, is everybody okay with this? Because we need to get it ordered, or we need, you know, something quick. Again, 1 week is usually okay. All I'm trying to say is we'll push everything through Ellie, and then you guys can decide whether or not you can make that decision in a day or two if it needs to be, or you have to wait till Thursday.
And you could get into something that you could see a Raptor that needs to be a special one that you need that day. That to me is an emergency. I mean, that's something, but I think things that, I mean, I'm really concerned about all these units up in the attic and going through our roof. That's, I mean, it's just going through a slate roof isn't easy, and I want to make sure that all the appropriate bracing is in there. Not that we come up, okay, now we need an extra beam in there and it keeps adding up. And I think it should have been in the original plan. That's all.
Understood.
Yeah.
Understood. Thank you.
The next set of bids, mechanical construction.
And then mechanical. I was talking to Chad here, should be oil. CMG at Easton has. He was checking to see if that allowance of 125,000, the owner contingency was. Duplicative from their general, yeah, I'm not sure of that one. But obviously it's a lot lower than the mechanical bids, totally. But the only other two mechanical bidders are JVM Mechanical Incorporated. $2,020,000 and no cents. And I don't know if you want me to read this, those subclaims, different pieces of the mechanical contract, but they're upstairs, that's why they're. And then Michael Mechanical Incorporated. $2,065,000 and no cents. And of course, they also have allowances in there of 125,000. Under contingency. Yep, that's it.
So I'll go ahead and make the motion to table for 3 weeks, so we can assess for lowest cost technically feasible bid.
And I will second that as long as that's the same wording I had in for the first one.
Mr. Honor,
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich.
Yes.
Mr. Notstein.
Yes.
The next contract is plumbing construction.
And their plumbing. Again, I think this is CMU is just with their allowance under here, $30,000. And JBN Mechanical total is $348,000.
They did that wrong.
AC Mechanical Service Incorporated, $447,000. O&M Multi-Trade Incorporated, $496,843. And then Michael Mechanical Incorporated, $504,000. And Bognet Incorporated, $987,654. No cents.
Was that one
Bognet,
again? Yes.
a 987,654.
That is for the plumbing.
That is it.
Good for the plumbing kids.
So go ahead and move the table for a period of 3 weeks to assess the lowest cost technically feasible and include Commissioner Arner's previous language.
I will second that.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Okay, and the last contract is the electrical construction.
Okay, similar to before, it looks like CMG has an allowance under electrical for 150,000 for owner contingency. As does Michael Mechanical.
So the actual here, this thing is this. This one.
The actual electrical bids. Are from GR Noto Electrical Construction Incorporated. $1,072,500. Next is Shannon A. Smith Incorporated. $1,223,200, no cents. Next would be George J. Hayden Incorporated, DBA Hayden Power Group. $1,266,350 and no cents. Next would be from US Solutions. $1,515,000, no cents. Now looks like the last one is from WindGap Electric Incorporated. $1,566,770 and no cents.
And move the table for a period of 3 weeks to assess lowest cost technically feasible, and again, inclusion of Commissioner Harner's previous sound.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yeah,
Mr. Notstein?
Yes,
Our next item is the report of executive sessions held.
there were no executive sessions held.
Department reports, the budget transfers.
motion approved. Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yeah.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yeah,
There are no supplemental appropriations. Expenditures, approval of check numbers 237,662 through 237,791 for expenditure to the general fund clearing account. Totaling $317,654.60.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes,
Treasurer's reports, we have 2 this week.
Move to accept.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yeah.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yeah,
The personnel report for county departments.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yeah.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes,
The acknowledgements for courts and row offices.
Move to acknowledge.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yeah.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yeah,
Correspondence was received as listed. Copies will be made available to the press on request. Adult probation. Intermediate punishment for approval, award of funding in the amount of $54,780 from the Pennsylvania Commission on Crime and Delinquency. For Carbon County's intermediate punishment program, the grant will fund the following projects: partial salary for an officer who will conduct assessments and determine if a defendant is eligible for a sentence of probation and restrictive conditions. If granted, they provide supervision of the defendant. The grant also helps pay for drug and alcohol treatments for those unable to be covered by medical assistance and offset the cost of some of the electronic monitoring equipment for the term of July 1, 2023 through June 30th, 2024.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yeah.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes,
Advertising for ratification. Authorize the advertisement of the invitation to bid for the CDBG CV contract 75512 fiscal year 2020. Carbon County Homeless Facilities, Peaceful Nights Women's Shelter. Project end date is September 29th, 2023.
Move to ratify.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes,
Boards and authorities, the Area Agency on Aging Advisory Board. A resignation from Grace Ruggiero of Lehighton.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Reappointments. 2-year terms to June 30th, 2025, representing the community. Pastor Sean Fry of the Salem UCC and St. Matthew's UCC of Weatherly. Gene Zimmerman of Weatherly. And Helene Kennedy, District Manager, Social Security Administration. Also representing the consumer, Sandy Gallagher, PV Senior Center, and Joseph Sevlin, Jim Thorpe. Do you want to do those?
The 1-year term ones or do them all together?
These were all two-year terms.
All right. move to read. Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yeah.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
1-year term reappointments to June 30th, 2024, representing the community. Susan Smith of St. Luke's University Health Network. Ellen Coffin of the Carbon County Area Agency on Aging Volunteer. Representing the consumer, Mary Zalesnik of Weatherly, Thomas Williams of Perryville, and Diane Ludicky of the Jim Thorpe and Kidder Senior Center.
Move to reappoint.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Children and Youth for approval and execution. The 5th extension to the consulting agreement with Kelly Noble of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, to provide fiscal services to the Children and Youth Services Department, extending the agreement to December 31, 2023. All other terms of the agreement remain in full force and effect.
Move to approve and execute.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yeah.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Communications 911. For approval and execution, requests received from the Communications Director. Enclosing a quote from Radio Maintenance Incorporated of Reading, Pennsylvania. To purchase and install a Fire F1 simulcast radio system at the Lehigh Tunnel and Broad Mountain Tower sites. At a cost of $65,156.54. This is under the CoStar's contract 012 E83-329. With the payment terms of 45%, 35%, and 20%.
Motion to approve and execute. Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Motorola Solutions for approval and execution requests received from the Communications Director. Enclosing a quote from Motorola Solutions to purchase one UHF-based radio repeater at a total cost of $43,584. This quote is in conjunction with the quote from Radio Maintenance for the F1 simulcast system at the Lehigh Tunnel and Bear Mountain Tower sites. State contract number 4400027237.
Move to approve and execute.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
The Coroner's Office for approval, grant agreement between the County of Carbon and the Pennsylvania Department of Health to obtain coroner and medical examiner reports, toxicology reports, and autopsy reports for violent deaths in Carbon County. Grant agreement is for the period of January 1, 2022 to December 31, 2022, with a grant amount of $8,000.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Vehicle fleet financing. Proposal submitted by Enterprise Fleet Management of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. For 10 additional vehicles under the vehicle fleet financing and maintenance of the master and open-end equity lease agreement approved April 27th, 2017. Agenda item 17-159 and renewed on July 28th, 2022. Agenda item 22-368. Vehicle monthly costs and full maintenance program for a term of 60 months for the following departments and vehicles as listed.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Solicitor report.
Thank you, for the 525 Pioneer Street, project in Lehighton. Seeking a motion for approval and execution of change orders numbers 1 through 4 to the contract with DeWalt Plumbing of Emmaus, Pennsylvania, increasing the contract by $6,084.42 for a new contract total of $154,884.42 for change orders 1 and 2, additional exterior signage at no cost. Change order number 3 to add hangers, ball valve, and to move the gas line in rooms 101 and 102 at a cost of $755.42. And change order number 4 for roof drain piping and exit nozzle at a cost of $5,329.
Move to approve minutes.
Second.
Mr. Moon?
Yeah.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yeah.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes,
And under tax assessment, seeking a motion for approval and payment of a refund of county real estate taxes to Thomas A. and Lori Dugan for property in Tomlinson Township due to the removal of a mobile home, decreasing the assessment from $11,500 to $11,150. Decreasing the assessment by $350. The taxes were paid in the discount period. The total refund due is $4.20.
Move to approve and pay.
Your Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes, and that will add up over the years.
Do you have any further business?
Other further business, I'd first like to have Matt Kimmel come up and talk a little bit about the motion we had for adult probation or the intermediate punishment and what this is gonna do. What the hell is that? I've seen what it-
Good morning, thank you. This is a yearly grant that is provided by PCCD. This year, we actually have increased our request to them.
Make sure the light's on, Matt, if it isn't, it should be bright.
There we go. This is a yearly grant provided by PCCD. It is used to help offset the salary of one of our officers. It also helps pay for some drug and alcohol treatment for people who cannot, that aren't accepted for medical assistance. This year, we also increased our request about almost $13,000 to help offset the cost of some of the equipment that we need to run the electronic monitoring, home electronic monitoring program. So this is a great benefit to the county because these funds help offset our costs. Any questions?
Good work.
We try.
I do have one question, and is the correspondence, the recorder of deeds office there again are the central state government. I'll pay for that, but I don't care. Again, as I pointed out, the 911 fee sunsets January 31st. Here we have the fee for the AOPC JCP program, juvenile, correct? Fee fund sunsets August 1st. The budget has not been passed, so effective August 1st, the fee collected will go from $40.25 down to $19. The legislature isn't even scheduled to go back in till September sometime, either when they do arrive there. Who knows how long it's going to be till we get a budget. The other issue with that, we will be spending down our other funds from aging children and youth, and who knows how many other agencies. Most likely the people in Harrisburg are not working at all. I don't know, because usually when the budget is not passed, nobody works. So this is gonna be a backlog for them when they do return. So this lack of a budget and lack of movement on several issues is a huge expense to the counties throughout the county. And it's really sad that, we, the county commissioners and the constituents in this state that use the services in children and youth, and we have to provide those services. We have to continue to do our job, our mandated jobs in adult probation and all the other offices, and it's sad that we are the ones that suffer for their lack of movement in Harrisburg. That's all I have, another further business as well. Okay,
Thanks, Matt.
Commissioners reports, Mr. Honor.
The only thing I have is, our renovation is gonna start on the building here on Monday. CMP was in on Wednesday and went over, to the walkthrough with all the employees. And gave the scope of work. Now, we're getting to the second floor, and you don't know this, Mark, but on Wednesday, we're having a meeting at 8:30, and they're gonna go over the scope of the work for the second floor. There might be up in the closet and stuff here because of the ventilation, but on Wednesday at 8:30, they're coming in and they're gonna have a meeting with you. Yes, right here. We'll have the meeting on Wednesday at 8:30 with yourself, your all department of Roberta and HR, and then they'll go over it. So they did explain everything to all the employees on the first floor, how it's gonna work. And they have a pretty good plan together. And I said, and IT was in on it. And in case we have a snag, it will be set up that they could work remotely for a day. And like I said, you get into these projects, you don't know what you're gonna run into.
Right. And they're working in the evenings.
Yes, it's gonna be all, like I said, 99.9% of the time is gonna be, and they're gonna start at 4 o'clock and work until 1. They're working 4 10-hour shifts. And they're Monday through Thursday, and then possibly Saturdays. What they're gonna do is come in and paint on Saturdays. That way they don't paint and something's not dry, for the next day. So they're gonna paint Saturday to give it 2 days. So they have, but you'll see they have a very good plan together. And by the way, I'm sorry about not notifying you about the meeting. Yeah, I know. Yeah, and I was gonna have you come up, and I'm thinking like,
Email, Lisa told me something this morning.
yeah, so, all right,
Thank you.
and that's about all I have.
Mr. Lukasevich.
Yeah, first, the proposal from Enterprise, I assure the county residents that this isn't the 1970s or 80s. And those Nissans will be built in America by Americans.
And I just snickered at that, it's not big, I snickered at it just because it's Nissan, because I'm a Ford person. That's the only reason.
Which 3/4 of that is built in Mexico and shipped back over the border, but nonetheless, it is a Ford, right? No, that's good. All right. Couple things, it's great to see, the invitation to bid, finally gone out for the single homeless women's, shelter. That has been long in coming, about 4 years and 5 months since that concern and issue was first brought up. So we are moving, towards realization of a single homeless women's shelter in Carbon County. Long overdue. Lastly, I'll mention in regards to veterans issues, in August of last year, the president signed the promise to address comprehensive toxins, and 1 or 2 critical deadlines are coming up. First and foremost, by August 9th, veterans need to submit their intent to file, it's called, by August 9th. And by filing by August 9th, this ensures that your claims or benefits, if approved, will be backdated to the implementation date of the PACT Act, which is August 10, 2022. And that can have significant financial reward by ensuring it is backdated to that. It doesn't mean you can't file after the date. It just means it won't be backdated to the implementation date. And then secondly, there is a 30 September date for those 9/11 veterans wishing to enroll in VA healthcare under a special 1-year window opened up by the PACT Act. But I think importantly, questions about this need to be directed down at the Veterans Affairs Office at 325-5097. Of course, it's 570-325-5097. In addition, Christine and her team, veteran service officers, will be hosting a couple community engagements specific to the PACT Act. One, Lansford Legion on Tuesday, August 1st from she says 1300 to 1800, so from 1 to 6 o'clock to answer questions about the PACT Act and to actually help veterans complete their intent to file prior to 9 August deadline. She'll also be seeing walk-ins on August 7th from 9 o'clock to 4 o'clock at the hub located within St. Luke's Lehighton campus down at Gannett and Hunton. And then depending on demand, she's prepared to set up additional opportunities on the 7th and 8th at a location to be determined. That's all I have.
Mr. Novak.
First of all, the Veterans Organization, another huge success in the Heighton, Maine with the veterans food distribution. I'm not sure how many they served or had people come through that area yesterday morning. Unfortunately, the American Legion post was not available in the interior of the building. Everything had to be done outside. Fortunately, it did not rain. For those though who do not know, they had a partial ceiling collapse. I believe it was last Thursday morning or during the night, Wednesday and Thursday, where part of the ceiling came down in their hall. Fortunately, no one was injured, but they are working on restoring it. The demolition alone for the rest of the ceilings, because it is an older building like many places, was over $33,000 alone just to remove the ceiling. I took some pictures of that. So the insulation was already out. You can see where some was replaced previously. Unfortunately for them, the insurance is only covering, from what I understand or been told, that cover the demolition, maybe a little bit more, but that 33,000, they're projecting another $35,000 maybe of repairs of the ceiling. Problem is, like most service organizations and the funds are not there. I would suggest maybe in Times News and 13 and other news media, get a hold of the Legion, take tour. So I would sort of ask that you talk to those people and maybe through donations. I understand some one of the lumber companies, Permanent Lumber, is donating quite a few square feet of insulation. I don't know if others were contacted yet. I know some of the veterans themselves have been donating some funds, but anything that you can help the American Legion get back into business soon, because now they're losing funds from the hall rentals. They had to move a few functions already. I'm not sure how many, and I don't know how long it's going to be till they get it repaired. They're waiting for the building inspectors and zoning officers, etc., and Barry Isaac to approve the plans to replace the ceiling and what they can and cannot do. So they're going through hard times, like most of those service organizations, because the younger generation does not get involved in the veterans organizations. Very few do, but yet you see them here at all our programs, 9/11 and Memorial Day, etc., Veterans Day. You see them at all the funerals and everything, and those guys are no spring chickens anymore. And a lot of them cannot do it anymore because of their age. In the Vietnam era veterans, we have very few World War II veterans left that could even participate in anything like that. So I would ask you to reach out to the American Legion of Lehighton and see what you can do to help them out.
If I could add, Wayne,
Sure.
the election board is aware, of course, of this. This is a
Yeah.
polling location. So the election board and, specifically our elections department will be reaching out, seeing what, if any, accommodations, modifications may or may not have to take place in regards to that as a polling
And I
location.
think with that too, like yesterday, I was there, in fact, Susan Wilds, the administrator, was there looking at it, see if they could help out, and I did call our guy on halfway about it, and have help out, but I'm having David Bonder working on, see if they can do any grants, but we understand that they have the insulation donated, they're gonna put it up, and I think it's a lot of the guys from the Builders Association. So it might be contacting, it might be the best thing, but what they wanna do is put plastic up that I think maybe not serving food is appropriate with the plastic up, and they might, okay, I don't know. But hopefully it would be that the election, because it is a good election spot, there's plenty of parking. And then for us to find something, hopefully it would be up and running for that, but I know they're, it's
Repaired before then, hopefully,
Yeah, it's-
because of this red tape garbage and everything that they have. to
But
do.
it's all out, the whole ceiling's done, not like
Yeah, it's all
yesterday when I was there, but the entire thing is out.
Yeah,
They're
it
in
would have
there.
been a matter of time, the rest of it would have
Yeah.
come down, so we
And-
don't need that happening when someone's at Mark. you gotta come.
I am a cell member of the Heighton Legion, but do you know why the insurance isn't covering? more?
Well, they are, but what wound up happening, I think it was like the section that was coming down, there was a section that when they came in, it was like 4 inches down. And it must have been the rest of it when they like pushed on it, was like hunky too. You know what I mean? So is it, and can't say what it was, is it because of the weather and it's not air conditioned? They have the air, you know what I mean, to save money or.
Oh, they're saying part of it wasn't connected to the glass.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then they decided, I guess, to take the whole entire thing out, which was probably the smart thing.
You're talking
One-
the whole ceiling.
Yeah, the
It's
entire,
large.
the entire ceiling of the hall is down.
If you saw the insulation that was coming down with it is deteriorating, coming
Yeah.
apart, so
Yeah.
replacement, now's the time to replace it.
Yeah.
More efficient, and
Right.
it's gonna help them in long run
Sure.
as far as energy.
And it was nothing through the roof leaking, it was just,
So.
it was just,
Yeah.
and like I said, sometimes with this heat, like you
Right.
look at any, like even Larry says, sometimes some of our buildings, when it gets hot and it's not. You can actually see the drywall moving, and
Yeah.
on a wall, it's a little bit different, the ceiling, when it drops, it's not gonna go back up.
I think they did replace that roof and they're not.
Yeah, that's what,
Here,
yeah,
last year.
that's what I said, it's really not an issue of leaking, it's an issue of something that. And like I said, let the experts determine, and like I said, when the insurance companies come in, maybe they'll have a different determination too,
Right.
that they did it on the safety of.
Yeah.
And I said, to
Sure.
contact whoever they can
Right.
for recommendation letters or whatever they need.
Right, like if they paid for part of it, the collapse, and then that's all they paid and the Legion fixed that, and then the rest collapses.
Well, that,
be
and
stupid.
they had to make that decision, and I think, in my opinion, it was a good decision.
Right.
Because if part of it's going, eventually the rest of it is, and I said, when you touch it and it moves a little bit, something's gonna happen eventually.
It's a drop ceiling, right?
No, it's a drywall
Oh,
ceiling, like a
boy.
plastic
right
ceiling,
up against the,
yeah,
The
wood
rafters.
beams.
Okay,
yeah, it's probably 20 feet
okay.
in the center
Yeah,
of it.
it's
I mean, it's pretty high,
Yeah, well, thank you for that.
yeah.
That, and the other thing is just reiterate what I said earlier about the frustrations of lack of budget and the state budget. The counties and the constituents, they're the ones that suffer. And it costs us more money now, so that's all I have. Meeting adjourned. Amy.
Good morning.
Morning.
Numbers, I hate numbers.
Okay,
I'm in the words business.
it's high, no, it's not.
I'm very confused with regards to the general contract figures, mainly because I was looking at things like JDM Mechanical, they read the general contract was 2,368,000. But when he was reading mechanical and plumbing, it totaled the 2,368,000. So the general contract figures that were read, I don't know, are the ones that. Like, 447,000 up to 2 million. Yeah,
And I think that's something that has to be looked at a little bit closer, like when the higher bids, are they bidding on? On the plumbing or whatever within theirs, and like, I think if they put an
Was it-
allowance in.
Was it broken out in the other bids?
That might be a problem too, that they might have
Yeah.
had both their bids in.
I see, Mark, if you can scroll up to the general contract area.
Yeah.
Under, it says total extended, and they're the numbers you read,
Right.
but below it says general construction contract, and has the 000. If you look out, keep going over. Under CMG, it's different because for a general contract versus, so it should be 1.6 versus 1.9.
Yeah, so they're if there was bids that were that 400,000.
That was what CMG that I said, the CMG was the general contract based on what I looked at, and then they had that, the 100 and whatever.
Yeah, 125 or something.
125 balances.
Yeah, we were wondering if they combined that particular into it.
But it's not just them.
I know,
It's
there's a
everything,
couple,
because I think
yeah.
the general contract, when you read it.
Yeah.
Because Casey Mechanical did not actually go for general contracting,
Right.
but when it was read as a general contract for 447,000.
Right.
So I'm just a little confused by that.
And what Tony pointed out as well for the general contractors, some of those aren't even general contractors.
I think, Mark, again, if you can scroll up again to the general,
I think when we look at that under CMG, we add up those owner contingencies in the subcontract. I think
I
that
did.
will add up to the total.
I did, but if you look at JVM Mechanical, you had read the 2,368,000.
Right.
They actually didn't apply for a general contract, which was read as that. They only applied as a mechanical and plumbing contract.
Right.
So what was read for the general contract, I'm thinking isn't fully, the full picture.
Well, the mechanical is 2,020,000
Mhm.
and then the plumbing is 348. I believe that adds up. Yeah.
Yes.
368. So
Yeah, but when you read, I'm saying, do you see what I'm saying? When you read the general construction
Right,
contract,
and that's kind of how we talked to it, but I know it's
it
confusing.
says 0 for them.
But for the media and everybody. Yeah. But understand, they said that once the county opens the bids, the media can go onto the Penn bid site, you'll see the same thing. And then the county will publicize it on our website too.
And I think what's even like confusing to me, like you have the construction there. And then you go down and then you have to go back up to the top, so it is who it is. Why don't they have it when it's the plumbing? Then the names of those contractors should be there. You know what I mean? Not listed in the whole thing, then.
Yeah, that's why today, after Cecilia and I were in training again last week,
Yeah,
that we learned about, I'll call it the segmentation, that after you opened everything. We could then drill down to mechanical, plumbing and
Yeah.
electrical to make it easier for everybody to see and read. Yeah, Chad from Boyle, he said he was gonna check on some things to make sure there wasn't. Like they weren't double
yeah,
including the
doubling up on it or
contingencies.
whatever.
Right, right,
Yeah.
which I wouldn't know that. So.
And what was the estimate coming in for this project?
For some.
Yeah, there's some sort of finding, it wasn't like 4 or 9 or something
Yeah.
like that. I don't know, I can get
It's
that.
between 4 and 5.
Yeah.
It's about 4, 5.
That was before all the price increases too. Labor, everything.
And then once everything is finally set in stone and you award the contract, what is the timeline for how long it will take?
Possibly start what, January?
No, I think, well, unless October, that's another thing. I thought it was October 17th it's gonna start. And one of the critical things in there that they put in this contract was the fixing of our roof. You know, the one on the bell tower over there. And I was hoping that they would have got, and whoever gets awarded the bid, that they could start on that. Or whoever's doing it, because you can't work on a roof in October, November, December. You know, it would be nice to have it done now that it was done. But
It's almost a year and a half the project, right?
yeah, it's only
We do have
like,
it.
18 months it's gonna take.
Okay,
But I think October 17th is the start date.
and then refresh my memory, please. Are you moving offices out of there as work's going on?
Are we moving from within?
Yeah.
We're looking at possibility of moving maybe some to 76 or something.
We have some flex spaces. so-
Yeah, we're not filling right away. Yeah.
And then any offices moving from floor to floor throughout it?
Yes, yeah.
I
It's
know
gonna
that,
be done floor by floor, starting with the first floor.
okay,
Basement with naturally because of the electrical and everything, a lot of that works, but that won't interfere as much as the electrical, and that's gonna cause a shutdown too. Total shutdown of the electric for maybe a few days, a couple of days.
I think that's all, then, gentlemen. Thank you very much.
The only question I had was about the Legion with the elections to the polling site. Is it right now up in the air whether or not it will end up being a polling site?
Right now, there's no change. I mean, the elections department and the board will assess it. Determine if there's a need to take any
And
action in regards. to
like I said,
location.
like I said before, like the Builders Association really stepped up. They came in there and there's a bunch of the contractors and they weren't even worrying about money. They just wanted to, get the process going. And I'm sure for the elections, all right, but like I said, they told me yesterday, they would like to have events. In fact, they're gonna have events, so they understand. They wanna have, and in fact, they said there's one on Facebook right now. I don't know what it is, that they wanna have some kind of attendance or whatever that starts funding that, but you'd have to talk to them.
That hinges on the building inspector as
yeah.
well, allowing them to.
Yeah,
I mean, once everything is removed, and most of it is all removed except some insulation from what I saw
Yeah.
early yesterday. So it's not like anything's gonna come down upon anybody, but even foot-wise, I don't know if the building inspector will even allow that to happen. The painting was not damaged, fortunately. Oh. Anything else, any? Nothing, okay, good.